Welcome back. Congress facing an uphill battle when both the House and Senate return to Washington this Monday. Many key pieces of legislation still are on the table with only weeks left before the August recess. That includes the NDAA, defense spending, appropriations bills, the Save America Act, the Clarity Act, and more. Speaker Johnson also hoping to work on a third reconciliation bill. But time is the ultimate factor here. Joining me now is Arkansas Congressman French Hill. He is the chairman of the House Financial Services Committee. Mr. Chairman, great to see you this morning. Thank you so much for being here.
Maria, great to be with you. Hate to hear that constipation story about our legislation.
Yeah, that's right. And of course, you are in such a key spot to actually affect change. You are helping to shape the biggest rewrite of the U.S. financial regulation in years, from crypto to bank oversight. Congressman, what do you believe is most important for Congress to prioritize before the August recess, knowing that, what do you have, about 8 legislative days left in the House and 20 legislative days left in the Senate?
You're right. We have so much to do and so little time, both for July during the August work period and then in September before the fiscal year end. For the Congress at large, I think it's very important that we complete spending in the House. Tom Cole's done a great job on our appropriations bills. We have 2 across the floor, all through the House committee, but we need to try to get those advanced before August. We need the National Defense Authorization Bill completed before August. And then I certainly hope, in working with my good friend Tim Scott, the chairman of the Senate Banking Committee, that the Senate can find a pathway to complete the Clarity Act before the August recess as well.
Yeah, and you've also are preparing for a high-profile oversight of the Federal Reserve. I want to get your take on what Kevin Warsh did yesterday with these task forces. But let's start here. The president is back in the U.S. after his trip to Turkey for that NATO summit. The president touting the NATO unity, despite recent tensions with European allies. A big topic was the ongoing war in Ukraine. Congressman, I know you recently shared an op-ed on this, emphasizing that words of resolve are great, but more needs to be done. You write, the NATO summit should commit to breaking the Russian war economy and ending Moscow's ability to fight abroad. That requires admitting an uncomfortable truth. Western sanctions have constrained Russia, but they've not cut off the fossil fuel revenues that sustained Vladimir Putin's war machine. Were you satisfied with what you heard out of NATO in that regard?
Well, it was a big step forward to see $300 billion of new financial commitments to Ukraine for defense. It was impressive to see President Trump consider producing Patriot missiles in Ukraine. I think that's a tremendous idea to rebuild their own defense capabilities of manufacturing in Europe. This will be combined with their own resolve to help defend Europe. This will make NATO and the transatlantic partnership stronger. And then I think the week was capped off by Ukraine's own outstanding drone technology that is now seeing it attacking Russian oil and gas operations on the other side of the world in East Asia.
Yeah, that's true. And when you see that kind of success, Congressman, does that make you more poised to support President Trump's calls for mass production of drones, increased spending on defense? He wants $1.5 trillion in a defense budget in 2027. You've got the supplemental. Are you supportive of all of that?
I'm supportive of growing our defense budget and making it more effective, and we see that in the National Defense Authorization Bill. Then we'll have to actually debate the actual spending levels. But this is an important debate to have. We are under attack like never before through cyber warfare, through attacks on our homeland security by infiltration, through China, Iran, North Korea, Russia, all working as a continuing axis of evil against Western country interests. So this is no time to take our foot off the gas of making sure we have the best technology in cyber and space defense, as well as the rapidly changing technology as it relates to just ground warfare and naval warfare that we've witnessed through the Ukraine conflict.
Yeah, it's all great points, underlining the importance of President Trump's handling the relationship with China. I know he's walking this balance of, on the one hand, saying, look, we want China to do well, he's my friend, and all of that. But on the other hand, knowing that China is behind massive cyber attacks in this country and massive surveillance of America. Is there anything you want to see different when it comes to the China-U.S. relationship?
Well, look, I think we have to have a relationship. Americans have to recognize that. And President Trump's taken the right steps by, first of all, demanding their markets be open to American goods, taking the steps to defend against their cyber attacks and other infiltrations of American homeland technology and our interests around the world. We face this in a realistic way. I think that's what you've seen from President Trump is a realistic assessment that we have to have a relationship with China. It's a big economy. It's an integrated economy in the world, in world trade. But we also have to reshore our important strategic minerals, our important medical supply chain, and not be dependent on China. That's the key difference.
Absolutely. And I think the president understands that and has been acting apropos. Congressman, we got to talk about the Clarity Act. We are approaching the one-year anniversary of the House passing the Clarity Act. It's been stuck in the Senate since then. Debate centered around ethical issues in the bill. CFTC Chairman Michael Seelig joined me earlier this week, and here's what he said to me about it. Watch. Is it that the Democrats are stopping the progress because of ethics issues and trying to get specific language in there about President Trump and his family and crypto?
Well, there's certainly some mission creep beyond what's really critical here. We want to set standards and protect consumers, protect investors, and that's something that Democrats and Republicans should be able to get behind. I do think there's a little bit of this creep into ethics and other types of extraneous issues, and they're just derailing this real opportunity to have a bipartisan bill in place. Otherwise, you end up with regulators like me writing all the rules, and I'm sure all the Democrats would prefer to get something in place that's bipartisan.
So, Congressman, I'd love to know your thoughts on what's holding this back. I will be speaking with the vice chairman of Coinbase momentarily. Ryan Van Grack will be joining me in the next hour, but we've already talked about what Jamie Dimon said about the Clarity Act, even though he reluctantly supported where we are right now. You said the Clarity Act will end years of regulatory uncertainty, but we're not certain that this is going to get across the finish line yet because it's stuck in the Senate. What's going on?
Well, that's a problem. I want to thank Gillibrand and Lummis and Bozeman and Scott and many others on both sides of the aisle who want to get to yes. And they've been working with our bill where we got 78 Democrats to support our bill exactly a year ago. We're coming to New York next week to have a field hearing led by Brian Stile, our subcommittee chair on digital assets, to highlight why this is so important to have a market framework. We've got to get beyond concerns that some have about ethics. And I would summarize it like this, Maria. If we passed the Clarity Act last summer, many of the things that people were expressing concern about, meme coin issuance, co-investment, use of exchange, investing in exchanges, all that would be under a market framework of regulation with clarity, no pun intended. And that would provide a lot of transparency to people that are concerned about the Trump family's investments. We've got to look at the big picture here. And we've got to get this market framework in place to be combined with the Genius Act, which is the stablecoin legislation that's already been enacted into law. You can't have a functioning, innovative marketplace and grow this economy on blockchain and use digital assets and tokenization if you don't have both. Stablecoin is like a cell phone not connected to a cell phone network. And the market framework that Mike Seelig talked about is, in fact, that network that we need.
So before I move on to the Housing Act, do you expect that the Senate feels that way, the way you do, and will get this on the floor and pass the Clarity Act soon? You think it'll happen this summer?
I've encouraged Senate leadership to put it on the floor. I think if you schedule a floor date here in the month of July, that will cause these final meetings, these final discussions to take place. You've got to have a deadline in Congress to get people to move and find consensus.
Yeah, let me get your take on the 21st Century Road to Housing. It passed overwhelmingly, bipartisan support. You worked hard on that bill. What are your expectations? Does this become law even though the president doesn't sign it?
It certainly can. Article 1, Section 7 says that at midnight tonight, if the president has not signed it into law, nor has he vetoed it, then the 21st Century Road to Housing Act will become law tonight, just past midnight. It's an important bill. It's a bipartisan bill, as you note, but it unlocks the supply side to lowering the cost for constructing housing, building more housing. And our biggest challenge is housing supply since the end of the global financial crisis. We have just not had different kinds of supply keep up with demand across the country for all kinds of housing units, and that's why this bill is needed and why it's got such strong support in both chambers.
But I don't understand how it becomes law even though the president doesn't sign it, Congressman.
Section 7 of the Constitution says the president has basically there are three choices when Congress passes a bill and sends it to the president's desk. He may sign it, he may veto it, or 10 days after it's transmitted to the White House, it becomes law without his signature.
There you go. That's it. Okay. Congressman, good to see you this morning. Thank you,
Civics
sir.
101, Maria.
Thank you for that education. Mr. Chairman, we'll see you soon.
All the best.
French Hill.
Have a great week.
And to you. And to you.